Hello, dear listeners. Most of you might think that dogs are just for playing and cuddling, but that's not true. Today, we're going to talk about a story where a dog found an abandoned baby. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. Feel free to send me your stories as well. You can find all the details in the description. Sophie lived in a small house at the edge of a dense forest, along with her loyal dog Max. The two were inseparable and spent every day together. One morning, when Sophie let Max into the garden, she noticed that he was unusually restless. He ran back and forth, sniffing excitedly at the ground, and eventually disappeared by digging under the garden fence that led to the forest. Worried, Sophie called for Max, but he didn't return. She ran to the fence and saw the disturbed earth. With a pounding heart, she set off into the forest, calling his name and searching everywhere, but Max remained missing. Disappointed and sad, she returned home that evening and asked her neighbors for help in searching the next day. But early the next morning, Max suddenly reappeared. He jumped on Sophie frantically and kept circling around her. When she tried to leash him, he kept backing away and barking excitedly. It seemed as though he wanted to show her something important. Sophie understood and decided to follow him. Max led her deep into the forest, through dense undergrowth and over small streams. After half an hour, he stopped and howled loudly. Sophie saw that he was standing in front of a pit. She quickly ran over and looked inside. To her astonishment, she discovered a baby in a basket, abandoned and frightened. Sophie carefully lifted the baby out and held it tightly against her. She could hardly believe what she was experiencing. She took the baby and immediately made her way home, where she quickly called the police. The officers arrived quickly and took the child to a hospital for examination. They immediately began searching for the parents who had left the baby behind. Sophie visited the baby often in the hospital and developed a deep bond with him. As the investigation continued, the media became aware of the story. Max's remarkable abilities became known nationwide. Many people were touched by the story and offered their help. After a few weeks, the news came that the child's parents could not be found. The search had been unsuccessful, and it seemed the baby had no one to care for him. Sophie didn't hesitate for a second and immediately said that she would adopt the child. The authorities were impressed by Sophie's determination and her commitment to the boy. After some bureaucratic hurdles and intense discussions, Sophie's adoption application was finally approved. The little boy, whom she'd since named Finn, was now officially part of her family. Max was celebrated as a hero and received numerous treats and affection. Sophie knew she could always count on her loyal friend. Max became Finn's constant companion, and the two developed a close bond. If this story touched your heart, you should also check out this story. His wife left him, and what he experienced is incredible. See what happened, and click here to view the entire exciting story.